Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Happy Tuesday, guys. Carmine Bianco here, WagerTalk.com, with another edition of Stoppage Time. League One started on the weekend, and now we have EPL starting on the coming weekend. We're going to cover that on Thursday's show. Today, we're going to cover a couple Champions League qualifiers, the Super Cup, UEFA Super Cup, Chelsea and Villarreal. With me to cover these games from SportsMemo, Pavlos Laguretos, and from WagerTalk.com, it's Nick Borrman and Kevin Dolan. Let's bring them in. Pavlos, I'm going to go to you first because you are on a roll right now, my friend, 6-0. Tell me what's going on and what you have to promote at SportsMemo.
Yeah, it's been a great weekend, especially Sunday and Monday. And I'm on a 6-0 run. Of course, most of these plays came from lesser leagues, but there were still winners. And I'm looking to keep it up today with just a single play from the Champions League qualifiers. It's up at my page at the Sports Memo. And yeah, looking forward to discussing the La Liga and the matches, and looking forward to the season officially starting in just a matter of days.
Yeah, Pavlos, there is no difference on top leagues or lesser leagues. When you cash a ticket, the money is the same. It spends the same. So good run, man. Keep it going. Nick Borrman, tell me what's going on and what you got to promote.
I have right now, we got, of course, another golf tournament coming up this week right before the FedEx Cup begins next week, which is a run of 3 big tournaments. Midweek this week, soccer-wise, similar to Pavlos, I got a 2-pack up for today in the Champions League. And that would be Tuesday. And I also have a couple plays up for Thursday as well, which I'm sure you'll talk about a little bit later. You can get just myself or with the collection of all 3 of us in 1 pack. And I have a couple tennis plays going on. We have a big tennis tournament going on this week with the Rogers Cup up in Canada.
Yes, Rogers Cup. I am going to be going to some of those matches. It's not that far from here, maybe 15 minutes from here. Played at York University, my university where I graduated from, Mr. Borrman. Not sure if you knew that.
I did not.
But yes,
awesome.
There you go. I've played on those courts. I got smoked, but I did play on the court, so that's all that really matters. Kevin Dolan, final word. How you doing, my friend? Tell me what's going on and what you have to promote.
Yeah, all good, Carmine. Been taking a lot of day trips out recently across the country. Really enjoying the good weather here in Ireland, all 2 weeks of it during the year. So it is a nice place to be during the summer. But, really looking forward to this weekend, obviously, with the EPL and the rest of the Euro Leagues about to kick off. And then obviously we got college NFL straight after that as well. So Champions League triple pack loaded up for today. We've got a UEFA Super Cup play loaded up for tomorrow as well. So obviously head on over to WagerTalk for both of those, and might try and squeeze in one more day out in the sun before the weekend hits and it's all work.
All right, guys, let's get right to it. We are going to cover some games that are being played today, tomorrow, and I think maybe one on Thursday. But it's 3 games total. We're going to start right off the bat with Ludogorets and Olympiakos. The odds on this one: Ludogorets plus 250. The draw plus 190, Olympiakos plus 115. The total is 2.25 goals. That's a split line of 2 and 2.5. So a quick reminder on that: if you bet on a line that's 2.5, and you take the over, half your bet is on 2 and half your bet is on 2.5. Leg 1 in this game was a bit of a surprise. A late goal needed by the home side Olympiakos, who are usually very reliable at home, to get them a 1-1 draw. They now head leg 2. It leaves everything in the balance. A reminder that the away goals rule no longer exists in these competitions. So essentially, this is they're starting at 0-0 here and moving forward. Pavlos, I'm going to go to you first on this one, of course, because it's a Greek team here and one that is favored.
Yeah, Olympiakos, I've got to say right off the bat that they have a couple of players that are returning. Not all of them are at 100%, but they have a lot of players back. Some of them are going to start. Some of them are going to play for just maybe 20 minutes or so. It was quite a scare in the first leg when they conceded the first goal. They weren't very good, but they were saved at the 87th minute by Kamara, who was just signed to that team. So that 1-1 draw is quite weird for me, I guess, because the away goal rule is out of the window this season. So the way I look at this is going to be a very tight match between the two sides. We know Olympiakos have a very solid defense, even though it's been shaking up a bit this season. However, the way I look at this, I simply can't avoid the draw here. I mean, I like the draw at plus 210. However, I don't expect to see a lot of goals. This match looks awfully a lot like a 1-1 draw to me. So I like the under 2.5 goals. I like both teams to score. I like the draw, and I like the 1-1 correct score. So that's a couple of plays that you can choose to pick or not pick. But that's what I like for this match.
Yeah, Pavlos, I tend to agree with you. And if you look at the sort of the markets and the correct score markets, 1-1 is the actual lowest number here at plus 500, followed by the 0-0 draw at plus 750, and then both teams to win 1-0 are pretty low after that. Olympiakos are at plus 700, 750, and Ludogorets are at plus 900 to win 1-0. So not many goals expected in this one. Nick, I'll go to you next on this one. Are you looking at a side, or would you lean more to the total here and take the under 2.25 goals?
I'm leaning towards the total in this one. I think the side is lined pretty correctly here in this game. I agree with Pavlos. I think the under is the way to go here. I mean, Olympiakos, they're the Greek champions, and really mostly because of their defense. I mean, they allowed just 19 goals last year through 36 matches. So far this year, they've allowed just 1 goal in the Champions League, which came, of course, in the reverse fixture as they won their first 2 matches 1-0, both against a pretty weak Azerbaijan team. At the same time, they've only scored 1 goal in all 3 games as well. Over the summer, they had a pretty solid preseason. They played 7 games. They allowed more than 1 goal just 1 time, which came against Salzburg. And if you know anything about Salzburg, they're probably one of the best attacking sides outside of any team in the Big 5 European League. So that's no surprise, or really not a bad thing that they've let Salzburg net that many. But against some other decent teams, Krasnodar from Russia, Wolfsberger from Austria, and again against another Bulgarian side, CSKA Sofia, they kept to 1 goal as well. So they've done a pretty good job defensively, and that's always kind of their mantra, is a solid defense. Ludogorets is also strong defensively. They've conceded just 3 times in 8 games so far this year, and I think we might see this start off very slow. I mean, we got a 1-1. Both teams are going to play very, very cautious. Neither team's a strong attacking side, so neither one's going to want to give up that first goal. So I think this could be very slow to get going, very cagey. Might not see a goal in the first half. So I really like the under 2.25 goals for the game, and throw a little pizza money on maybe a 0-0 halftime score as well.
All right, that's Nick Borrman of WagerTalk.com. Kev, I'm going to give you the final word on this one. And the odds that I always quote at the top of the show are the overnight odds, and we see some adjustments to those numbers. And clearly, Olympiakos went from plus 115 to some markets have them as high as plus 135, plus 140 now. The draw from 190 to 2, and Ludogorets from 250 down to plus 200. Does that have more to do with the fact that this is going to be a tight game? It's I would have thought Olympiakos would be probably plus 110, but with that market moving up, while they look attractive, it makes me a little leery of, as Pablo said, a draw in this game going into extra time and maybe being decided by penalties.
Yeah, I thought Pavlos' assessment on this game was spot on. I just see it going the exact same way. I think a draw is likely. I think 1-1's very likely. So I agree with, him and Nick on the under as well. I would imagine Ludogorets, are the happier team probably after that first leg. I know even without the away goal rule, just getting that draw in Greece, pretty good result. 8 straight games unbeaten now. Haven't allowed over a single goal in any of those games either. It's a tough ask for Olympiakos. If you just go by name recognition, obviously, Ludogorets have qualified before, but Olympiakos are the name team here. But they just haven't looked impressive. I think if you're looking for, those big prices in this game, plus 200, fair enough in the outright draw, 1-1 correct scoreline, plus 500, that's decent value as well. I also think if you're looking towards the handicap, getting the quarter goal head start in Ludogorets is fair enough again. And, another bet I quite like here is Ludogorets to qualify at plus 110 around there. So, as I said, for me, I'm just not sold on Olympiakos right now. They've looked really average to me recently, both in the first leg of this tie and in the previous round as well. I caught the highlights of their games against, Neftchi Baku, where they struggled to win 1-0 over both legs. So, it's got to be the home team here, plus a quarter goal, outright draw, good, correct score, 1-1, good. They all look decent value to me.
Neftchi Baku. It sounds much better coming from someone with an Irish accent than it does someone from a Canadian or Italian accent. So well done, Kevin Dolan. Kevin Dolan, WagerTalk.com. Listen, he has, and this brings me to the show promo for Tuesday, and this might become a regular feature. Kevin has a 2-pack up on Thursday. Nick has a 2-pack up on Thursday. And of course, I have one up as well. You can get all 6 of those plays all in one package. You can head over to either one of our accounts on WagerTalk.com, and you can get 6 plays for Thursday, 2 from each of us, for only $49. That regularly goes for $87. So 3 in 1. And of course, next Tuesday, we'll talk about how we did on those 6 plays and which one of us has bragging rights. Hopefully, it's all of us. And we have a 6-0 day. So head over to WagerTalk.com, click on either Kevin's, Nick's, or my profile page, and you can find that package on the right-hand side. All right, guys, let's move over to game number 2. And this is another game. This one goes, I believe it's today or tomorrow. Sorry. The Olympiakos game goes today. This Rangers one goes an hour later at 3 o'clock today. So a couple games for you guys to get some actionable info on. Rangers minus 223 at home. The draw is plus 300. Malmo plus 550. The total here is 2.75, but that's a split line of 2.5 and 3. Nick, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Leg 1, 2-1 Malmo at home, but a important late goal by Rangers in that one. And again, there is no aggregate here. So plenty to play for here still, but it's much better for this Rangers side, only being down a goal heading into today's 3 p.m. match. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, and for sure that was a surprise result for many, as Rangers definitely was the favorite team coming in here. They followed up that 1-2 loss in leg 1 that you mentioned, Carmen, and they lost 0-1. 1-0 on the road at Dundee in the Premiership, which is now back-to-back losses, which has not happened in quite some time. In fact, all of last year, they only lost 2 games the entire season last year in regulation. There was a third lost in some cup match. I forget which one it was. But it's rare that you see them lose games in general, let alone back-to-back games. So, I would expect them to be able to turn around and right the ship here. At one point last year, they were on ESPN's top 10 power rankings for all of the teams in Europe, which I thought was a little aggressive. But it just, it kind of proves that this team was playing very, very well, and they were very tough to beat. And they made a pretty good run in the Europa League last year as well. But again, just a very solid team top to bottom. The advantage, I think, here with Malmo is they're pretty far along in their season. They've got 14 games in their league already played. They've played 5 Champions League games now as well. They had their season was a little unique this year. They always play in the summer, but they started before the Euro tournament. They got in, 6, 7 games, something like that. and then they took about a month off during the Euro tournament, and they came back and have since played 10 games since the Euro tournament's over. So they're definitely more, in season shape than Rangers is, and I think that was a big factor in that first game. And coming into this game with the advantage of having the goal lead, I see them really going to try to sit back, play defense, try to win this game. They got a lot of experience in their tournament. They're always, Sweden's, if not the top team, one of the top teams. But generally, they tend to be the top team from Sweden. So they've played in the Champions League plenty over the years, and I think they have enough experience here to, at least in this first half, keep this thing close. And I like plus a half a goal in the first half. It's priced at minus 135. I'm seeing right now. 0-0 is an interesting way to approach this as well. It's about plus 215 for that halftime score at 0-0. But I really think it's simple here to take Malmo plus a half a goal in the first half. I think Rangers is the better side over the course of the game. Probably should win this game more often than not, but I think it's lined very accurately at -1. So I'm just going to go Malmo, keep it tight early, plus a half goal first half.
All right, Nick Borrman, WagerTalk.com. Kev, I'm going to go to you next on this one because I know you're a big fan of this Steven Gerrard managed Rangers side here. So I'm going to go to you next on this one. And, taking the aggregate out of this is important now because Malmo know, I guess, even if they go down 1-0 in this game, it's essentially still this two-leg tie is still even from this point. But I agree with Nick. Rangers are the better side here, and I have to think, they've lost 2 in a row. I get it, but we've seen it in qualifying last year, and in years past. Those first early games in league play, if you've got Champions League games, the focus is really there. Get into that tournament, and then they're probably the best. They are the best side in the Premiership anyway, so it's not really going to matter. They're probably going to win once again this year. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Carmine, I think you need to pump the brakes on that whole base team in the Premiership, 6-0, but I didn't even know that, what Nick just said there. ESPN power ranked Rangers as a top 10 team in Europe. That comes after, do you remember, was it 2019 where they put Bobby Firmino as the 9th best striker in Europe? So someone seriously needs to get fired for the ESPN because those are some terrible ratings. But, look,
Bobby Firmino scored a couple of goals yesterday for Liverpool and a couple of nice goals at that, but again, it was just a friendly. Sorry to steal your thunder.
I was just I was tuned in on the weekend, and I just like to say it was good to see proper order restored in the Scottish Premiership. As Nick said, Rangers came off losing to Dundee United, who were a bottom half team last season. That was fantastic to see. And on the other side of Glasgow, actually, Celtic absolutely ripped the doors off Dundee. There's 2 Dundee teams. For those, there's Dundee United as well. So, it can get tricky. But, absolutely electric performance from the boys. Japanese kid Furuhashi, hat-trick from him on his debut. 31 goal attempts. So, I think the Premiership's wide open this season. But obviously, that's the bias in me. Just in terms of this game, I know we're here to talk about Rangers. So, I think it's going to be a tough ask for them. And I'm in agreement with Nick on this game. They're very lucky to only escape being down 1 goal. 95th minute goal from Steve Davis, gave them that lifeline in this game. And, I know we always like to point to Rangers' fantastic home form. They've lost just once in their last 31 games inside Ibrox. 28 of those were wins. So they are, on paper, a tremendously strong outfit in home soil. But, by the same token, a lot of that success, it's been built against the likes of Kilmarnock and Hamilton and Ross County and so on. And there's basically an awful lot of fluff, in the Scottish Premiership. And, Malmo, they're none of those. I think we saw last year, even during that fantastic, amazing title run that they had against Europe's more decent side. Look, Rangers struggled. They shipped 5 goals over 2 legs against Royal Antwerp in last year's Europa League. Slavia Prague knocked them out 3-1 in the round of 16, aggregate scoreline, including beating them 2-0 inside Ibrox. I know there was a couple of red cards in that game, but, still lost there. So they're definitely not infallible to decent European level sides. And as I said, I think Malmo are that. Yes, the Swedish league isn't exactly, the German Bundesliga, but, Malmo are the Swedish champions. They're extremely well set up defensively. They allowed the second fewest goals last season in the Allsvenskan, and, they're on course for that again this season. And, they showed how clinical they are in that first half The first leg against Rangers, scoring that brace inside 2 minutes to open up the second half. So yeah, it's got to be Malmo for me. And when you're getting a full goal head start, either take Nick's half goal on the first half or the full goal on the full game. I think that's a big price. So it's got to be Malmo here all day long, especially at the plus full goal.
All right, I'm loving it so far because I think I am on the opposite end of both Nick and Kevin. Let's see if we can make it 3, and we'll go to Pavlos. Pavlos, I'm going to throw an exact score at you because I expect some goals in this game. 3-1 Rangers plus 1,200. Give me your thoughts on this game and maybe that exact score.
3-1. Yeah, I kind of like the over, but Rangers in their last 2 matches, they, of course, both were losses. They had only, their opponents had only 5 shots on target in their last 2 matches combined, and they conceded 3 goals. So they, Malmo, they're always dangerous on the road. I think they scored in the last in all away matches this season. Of course, most of those were for the Swedish league. But Rangers, they're playing at the full capacity Ibrox Stadium. I think that's 50,000 people, so that's always a huge boost for any home side. And however, I expect a slow-moving first half, and I like the under 1 goal in the first half. I think worst-case scenario, there's going to be just 1 goal, so that's a push. But I expect both teams to be really, I expect Rangers to have the upper hand and try to take control early in the match, while Malmo will try to defend. However, I don't see a lot of goals in the first half. Maybe in the second, but judging by what I've seen in recent matches between the two sides, they seem to be more careful in the first halves than they are in the second. Now, I would really like this match to go to extra time, so I have in my books at least some preliminary picks. Rangers to win by exactly 1 goal at plus 185. So that also means I like Rangers -1 at plus 110. I like it. I seriously believe this is going to be a push. I really do think that Rangers will win by exactly 1 goal. So I also like the 3-1. I mean, if they score an early goal, which I don't want to because I have the under 1 in the first half. If they score an early first goal, then it's gonna, all hell will break loose in the Ibrox Stadium. So I like Rangers -1 and the under 1 in the first half.
All right, Pavlos Laguretos of SportsMemo. I like it. All hell breaking loose. That's what I'm hoping for in a 3-1 Rangers win at plus 1,200, 12-1 on your money. Little pizza money on that one, and look forward to us talking about this one on Thursday's show if that actually does happen. Guys, it's Tuesday, so obviously it is $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk and SportsMemo. It's where you can get a featured capper who is one of the hottest cappers on each site. You can get their play for only $2. These are plays that normally go for $25, $29, or $35. Over at WagerTalk.com, it's Rob Vino. You can get his play for $2. Within that play, there are some great promos that you can take advantage of as well. And at SportsMemo, it's JM Sports. He is on a 13-0 MLB run with side plays. So he's going for 14-0 with MLB sides today. You can get that play for only $2. And again, there are some promos within that package. So make sure you not only buy that package, but you read the analysis section for those promos. All right, guys. Let's head over to the third game. This is being played tomorrow. The first 2 games that we covered today, the Olympiakos game goes at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and then at 3 p.m. Eastern time is the Rangers game. So a couple of games today you can get down on if you're watching this show live. We're going to go to tomorrow's game. This is the UEFA Super Cup, last year's Champions League winners against last year's Europa League winners, Chelsea versus Villarreal. The odds on this one, Chelsea, a short favorite at -138. The draw is +260. Villarreal, +400. And the total on this game is 2.25 goals. That is a split line of 2.5. Kev, I'm going to go to you first on this one because I'm wondering if you're actually going to this game. It's at Windsor Park in Belfast. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, as you said, it's just up the road from me. Windsor Park, though, wouldn't usually make a habit of going there, to be fair. But it'll be interesting. Look, we see all the Chelsea players and Villarreal players. Maybe Timo Werner can sample some of this lovely Irish weather going on right now. Might even kickstart his goal resurgence for this season. A few pints of Guinness to stir him up and stuff. But I actually think this year's Super Cup is probably... I think it's more important than in seasons past. These standalone type of cup affairs usually, they usually obviously mean more to the quote unquote smaller clubs in these type of games. We saw that with like Leicester beating Man City on the weekend in the Charity Shield. Sevilla gave Bayern Munich a hell of a game in last year's Super Cup as well, pushing them to extra time. So I think you can always kind of expect that extra 10% from the smaller team in these type of games. But I think that's especially true this year more than others with Villarreal, as they're just such a small club. That was something was touched on before this year's Europa League final against Manchester United, and in that historic kind of Champions League semi-final one, was it 15, 16 years ago now, that they got to the semi-final against Arsenal. So just how much Villarreal overperform in European competition compared to their geographic size. I mean, the entire town of Villarreal is like 50,000 people or something. So, for them to not only go on and win a Europa League title with a club, an area that small, again, and this Super Cup is going to mean so much to them as well. So, they're not just going to be here for a kick around and a bit of a day out, as we've seen with teams kind of in the past who've shown up for Super Cups. This game will be super important to Unai Emery. It'll be almost, the icing on the cake of what was an incredible season last year. And I really do think we see a best effort from Villarreal here tomorrow night. By the same token, while the Super Cup mightn't mean quite as much to Chelsea here, especially with them lifting the Champions League back in May, Thomas Tuchel, he's still only months in this job. He only came here in January. So every bit of success and silverware that he can get his hands on is still valuable to him staying at Chelsea long term. So I don't think they're going to roll over here. Against the team of Villarreal, look, they've polished off successive English clubs now in European competition, going in as pre-match underdogs. And, Chelsea certainly don't want to be number 3. One of the bets I like most in this game is game to be decided in extra time, yes, a plus 550. That's a nice price. We saw that last year with Bayern Munich overcoming Sevilla in extra time. And, we just know how difficult Villarreal can be to break down defensively. They're one of the best defensive sides in Europe. I think this could be a long night in Belfast for Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea tomorrow night. In all honesty, Timo may put the Guinness to settle a bit longer than usual. And I think we see this game push past the 90-minute mark and get settled in extra time here.
Yeah, there's some great info from Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com. And Kevin, I agree with you. I think back to that Bayern Munich Sevilla game, and I know it sounds great. UEFA Super Cup, the two champions of Europe's 2 big club competitions, and it's going to be a big game. I think if it was played 2 weeks after those competitions were played, then maybe. I think a year sort of, or 6 months or 4 months or whatever it is removed from those games, it just doesn't have the same feel. And last year's didn't. I think a lot of people thought Bayern were going to roll over Sevilla in 90 minutes, and that never happened. Pavlos, give me your thoughts on this one.
I love actually Kevin's pick. 6 of the last 8 Super Cup finals were draws, and that goes to show that both teams, even though one team won the Champions League and the other won the Europa League, they fight it off like really hard in the finals. So 6 of the last 8 finals were draws, including a mouth-watering 4-4 draw between Barcelona and Sevilla back in 2015. So I just love Kevin's play here. Another way to play this is the draw at plus 280, because sometimes if it does go to extra time, maybe it will go to penalty kicks. So I like the draw here. I like also both teams to score at plus 105. I mean, if you look at Chelsea's, they played 4 friendlies. Both teams scored in all 4 matches, and all 4 had over 2.5 goals. And if you look at Villarreal's friendlies, which they kind of sucked, to be honest. They played 6 friendlies. They had 3 losses and 2 draws, and 3 draws, sorry. Both teams scored in 5 of those 6 matches, and all 5 had over 2.5 goals. So I like both teams to score at plus money. I'm actually surprised to see plus 105 on the both teams to score and the draw here.
All right. Yeah, you have to think, obviously a good Chelsea defensive side. And Nick, I'm going to go to you next on this one. Villarreal, maybe a couple seasons removed, but they used to be one of my favorite under teams in La Liga. I think they had one of the best defenses. I think you have to go back to, I think it was the 18-19 season. Maybe I'll have to look at the standings there. But their games were regularly 1-0, 2-0 type games, 1-1 games. And with the totals before they started going to these split Asian lines, you had to lay a little bit of juice, but you could take under 2.5, minus 130, minus 140, and there were almost auto wins with this team. Give me your thoughts on these two sides.
Yeah, Villarreal were definitely a bet on team for me last year. They were just very, very good in La Liga. They played the tough teams tough, and they got results often. The one worry I have here, listening to Pavlos and Kevin, I don't hate the draw play, and this is only a small lean for me. I have this up on my page as a free play to back Chelsea. It seems a little bit too easy, and it probably is. I don't think it's going to be an easy win by any means for Chelsea, but I like to look at these early games as to how the teams are looking coming into the season. Chelsea so far so good in the preseason. They have a couple good wins over Bournemouth, Arsenal, 2-2 draw against Tottenham. Villarreal have not looked good. They're winless in 6 games. They got losses against Valencia, Marseille, Leicester. I know it's friendlies. I know it's played a little bit differently, but as we mentioned before, for at least half the game, they got their top lineups in there and they're playing. The other big thing here is there's a lot of players missing on both sides, which hurts Villarreal more because they are not nearly as deep as Chelsea. Villarreal are without Pau Torres, who played for Spain in the Olympics. Their winger, Samuel Chukwueze, remains sidelined with hip injury. Apparently, there was also a huge COVID scare. Several people tested positive in the clubhouse. This was about 10 days, 2 weeks ago. So some of the players sounds like are going to be available for that. But the problem is Emery has not been able to hold a practice with the entire team in 2 weeks. And, that's a big factor heading into a season where you haven't gotten any reps going. So if this game's played at the end of last year, I'm probably going to take Villarreal and take the plus goals because they proved they could just hang with anybody. But coming in here, a lot of those factors at play. They don't have the reps in them. Who knows what the lineup's going to look like? Who knows how much field time they've had together? And then Chelsea on the other side, I mentioned absences. They're going to be without Mount. Thiago Silva's out. Reece James, Ben Chilwell. Jorginho is out as well. So, but the benefit for them is all of those guys can be out, and they're still going to be fine. They are so freaking deep. There's a good chance we'll hear the official announcement that Lukaku is a Chelsea player today as well. Unlikely he's going to be playing in this match, but he is expected to travel with the team. And who knows, maybe it's just a little morale boost and a little extra, something on the bench for these guys. But I think the big factor for me here is Villarreal, a little short on the bench, a lot of reps. They have not been able to get together with their teammates, and they just haven't looked good so far this season. So I think Chelsea is the play. Last night I was looking, it was about minus 120, 125. It's up to about minus 140 now, so it is moving towards a Chelsea play, whether that's public or sharp money. I don't know, but I think Chelsea's the way to go on this one.
Yeah, Nick, and I have to think, with the Lukaku one, obviously he had been in training with Inter, but and he's supposed to, they're talking about the fact that he could very well be in the lineup, not for this game, but on the weekend as Chelsea kick off their season against Crystal Palace. So we could see him there, which is another thing with this game on Wednesday and their first league game on Saturday. Yes, winning these competitions or these cups would be great. It's a trophy, but it isn't one where you're going to see Thomas Tuchel absolutely tax his squad and have nothing available to him on Saturday. So it's one of those ones where I don't want to even lay a price. I'd rather take a quarter of a goal or half a goal if it's available. Because as Pavlos has mentioned, I think 6 of the last 8 have been draws. So you cash that ticket no matter what happens in extra time or penalty kicks. Guys, we are going to do a quick, we're going to give you plays in La Liga futures. I'll do a roundtable, see if the guys have anything of interest. But I want to talk about the show special one more time. It is a 3-in-1 deal. You can get my Nick Borrman and Kevin Dolan's two packs that we have loaded for Thursday. All 6 plays in one package for only $49. You head over to WagerTalk.com. You click on either one of our capper pages, and you will find it there on the right-hand side, the 3-for-1 special. This would normally go for $87. You can get this for only $49. It's available now right up until the first game, which goes Thursday at 11 a.m. So it's a great deal. And if this works out great, we will do it again next Tuesday. So head over to WagerTalk.com and pick up that package. Guys, okay, La Liga. Obviously, things change up a little bit as far as futures with Lionel Messi now in a PSG uniform. So you have that to look for. Kev, I'm going to go to you first on this one and sort of looking at the outright markets as far as the teams here. Originally, you had Barcelona sitting at about plus 125 to win the league. You have them now. I'm just seeing if we have any changes. You have them at plus 225 now. Real Madrid, who were at plus 175 to win, are now the favorites at plus 110. Is there any value in Real Madrid at plus 110, or do we look elsewhere? Maybe last year's defending champions, Atletico, at plus 300?
I think Atletico provides some value. I mean, it's effectively the same team. I don't see any value at Real Madrid. I think Varane's, I know he's made some clinical errors in the past in Champions League football, but he's going to be a big loss in defense for them. I think one of the value plays is Barcelona. As you said, I was looking earlier in the week or last week. They were as low as plus 110 at some books. And, this jumped to plus 225 right now. Yes, obviously Messi, one of the best players in the world, but at 34, as good as he is, that's a massive jump. So I like Barcelona. If you look at the XG, we keep talking about this, and it's great for season-long bets. Barcelona absolutely ran rampant last season. Overall XG, overall expected points. We talked about, last week, as we said, what a great metric it is. Barcelona averaged, 2.21 XG per game last season. Those are crazy numbers. And no one came close to that in the Liga. Real Madrid came second, 1.71 XG. So that's a massive difference. And obviously Messi contributed to that, but it wasn't just him. And, I think, they've got their overall core, Piqué, Jordi Alba, Coutinho, Griezmann, so on. They've added Memphis Depay from Lyon in the offseason, along with Sergio Aguero. He'll bring that bit of experience up front. And, in Pedri, Fati, De Jong, Dembele, I know some of them are injured right now, but they have some of the world's best young talent right now. And if you're giving me plus 225 on a team that absolutely dominated the boards in XG last season, I think that's the value play. So, yeah, Barcelona for me plus 225.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with you, Kev. And Nick, I'm going to go to you next on this one. It is not like, and obviously it's a big miss with Messi having left, but it's not as if this team has been gutted. They still have players of quality. I get Sergio Aguero's injured. He's going to miss 10 weeks, but there's still talent in this lineup. Obviously, Griezmann, Depay, who they picked up. There's still plenty of guys who can put the ball in the net for this team, and you're getting them now at twice the price they were last week.
Yeah, there's not many times I'll say this, but not only is Kevin incredibly handsome, he's actually very smart as well, and he's right on the head as far as Barcelona goes for the league this year. They did dominate all the expected goal numbers behind the scenes, and that is a very good tool, as he mentioned, for season-long prediction. So I won't add any more to that. I 100% back his play there in Barcelona. I'll go to the other side and look at the teams to be relegated. I don't know if it's the frustrating part or the tough part about La Liga is the bottom half of the table. There's not a lot that separates them, to be honest. And if you look at expected goal numbers from last year and the teams that were actually relegated, you got Eibar, Huesca, and Valladolid. They were not the bottom three teams or bottom even. They were in the bottom half, but they weren't the bottom teams as far as expected goals. But a lot of those teams are so close to each other, it's hard to separate them. So the one or two that I see here that provide decent value, Granada, who I love. You guys know I love them. I bet them every home game I possibly can because they seem to be undervalued. We're not good last year, expected goal metrics. They were the third worst team in La Liga. They're currently 5-1, plus 500 to be relegated. They have still a good squad, but I mean, La Liga, you got to be able to win games because those draws, everybody ends up getting draws, so they don't help you come the end of the season. So I think that's decent value on a team to be relegated. Elche, Cadiz, they're priced where they need to be, so I didn't see a ton of value there. And the only other team I was looking at is Levante, plus 400. They were right there in that same neighborhood as far as Granada goes with expected goal metrics. So one of those two teams would not surprise me to be, in the hunt or in the mix of possibly being sent back down next year. So I like Levante or Granada as a decent chance to be relegated.
All right, some relegation information from Nick Borrman. Pavlos, I'm going to give you the last word on this. I'm not sure if you looked at these markets, but top goal scorer, you have Karim Benzema plus 400, and then you have a couple guys, Luis Suarez and Memphis Depay at plus 500 here. What about Villarreal that we mentioned earlier in the Super Cup? Gerard Moreno, 10-1 plus 1,000. Thoughts on any of these, or just the La Liga winners for this season?
I like Benzema, to be honest. The thing is that Barcelona and Atletico Madrid are stacked up front, and the goals might be split among those players. So I don't know who's gonna shoot the penalty kicks at Barcelona. Maybe it's Depay, maybe it's Griezmann. Who knows? But whoever hits those penalty kicks should be the top scorer in Barcelona. But I like Benzema this season, and but I do not like Real Madrid. Real Madrid, they completely revamped their defense. They are without Varane, without Ramos. They didn't bring anything, any great additions. They did bring Alaba, but Alaba isn't going to save the entire Real Madrid defense by himself. Of course, they have Militao and Fernandes, but the gap in quality from what they had last season is just massive. And there's still, Marcelo is getting older. Carvajal is injured. Odriozola is also injured. So at the start of the season, I think that Real Madrid will have a tough time, especially if they can't shake off those injuries. Azar is a former player who should be in the MLS soon. So Barcelona, they grabbed Agüero and Depay, among other guys. So I think they're going to have a fine season. Maybe Atletico Madrid could challenge them. They didn't make a lot of changes, but they did bring De Paul from Udinese, who had an amazing season. He's a midfielder who is like a Wijnaldum type of player who always goes up front, and he contributed to a lot of goals. Either he scored or assisted a lot of goals for both Udinese and Argentina in the Copa America. So this doesn't look good for Real Madrid. So I would steer away from picking Real Madrid as the La Liga winners this season. I like Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, but you can also take the winner without Barcelona and Real Madrid and pick Atletico Madrid at minus 165. I don't think that Sevilla will have what it takes to to finish above Atletico Madrid. So as for a top scorer, I like Benzema. And I'm not so high on Gerard Moreno because I saw him in a couple of friendlies. Of course, he was coming off, the Euros. He didn't play a lot, but he looked a bit tired, I guess. So, I like Benzema and Barcelona.
All right, Pavlos Laguretos, Sports Memo. Guys, before we finish, this is going to be a quick 30 seconds. We don't need an explanation, but I'm going to throw this one at you. I ran a poll. I've got a poll that's running on Twitter. So let's get an answer from all four of you guys. All right. PSG's first game, referee blows a penalty. Who's taking it? Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, or Sergio Ramos? Kev, I'm going to you first.
Mbappe.
Nick?
You don't bring the GOAT without giving him the ball, Messi.
All right, there's four egos sharing the kicks here. Pavlos.
I'll have to go with Messi. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, but I think it will be interesting to see the discussion about who ends up taking the penalty kicks. I think Neymar is going to be a little, frustrated about it, but I think it's going to be Messi. No doubt.
I don't think Neymar is going to be upset about it. I think he'll actually pick up the ball and probably hand it to Messi because he's glad to be there. But whether that rubs Mbappe the wrong way remains to be seen. And Ramos was the PK taker for Real Madrid. So it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. I think everyone thinks it's going to be Messi, but we'll see if there's any strife when that happens throughout the year, whether it's Messi taking them all, because these guys want to stack their stats as well too. So we'll see how that goes. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Remember, it is $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo, where you can get the featured cappers play for only $2 at WagerTalk. It is Rob Vino. You can get his play and some promotions within his analysis section for only $2. And over at Sportsmemo, it's JM Sports. He's on a 13-0 MLB side run, and he's got a side play up today going for 14-0. You can pick that up for only $2. Thursday show, we are going to cover EPL on the weekend. Finally, it is back. Guys, thanks for tuning in. And as always, good luck with your wagers.
Sign up for the free WagerTalk text club to gain access to free plays and exclusive discounts. Just text WagerTalk to 33222 to sign up and get a $10 coupon to use on WagerTalk.com.